What is going on, guys? Today, we're doing something a little bit different because I want to talk about what is basically currently going on in the One Piece manga, and because YouTube will just absolutely destroy me if I have any manga panels in any of my videos, I guess this is what we're doing. I'm just going to be talking to the camera. So, what I want to be talking about specifically is how strong Oden, Kozuki Oden, could possibly be. I have mentioned, I think about 2 or 3 times now, that I think it is a possibility. Okay, I've made it very clear that I don't think this is the case, but I do think that based on what we've seen, it is still a possibility that Oden, at least when we have been seeing him, could have been Yonko level. I really think that that is a real possibility. I think it does make sense to an extent. So while I don't think it is the case, I do want to offer up reasons why I think it is possible, because there are certain people I'm seeing saying there's just no way, there's no evidence of that whatsoever, and I don't think that's the case. Again, I don't think that it's correct, but it's certainly possible, and I just want to make that claim today, basically. So let's just get into it. First of all, something very important about Kozuki Oden is that he is supposed to be Hercules. Oda likes to make a lot of characters based on real people. I mean, some of the main characters really, like Blackbeard, of course. He's supposed to be like this nefarious pirate, and that's basically what he is in the story. Oden is supposed to be Hercules. I'm sure most people know who Hercules is. He is basically a demigod, and he kind of lived his life not realizing that he was a demigod and was just way more powerful than everyone else, like basically a god. So it was not even close. And then if we're gonna like put that in the One Piece world, I don't know exactly what that would look like, because I guess a normal civilian is basically nothing. Like, they're just like you or me. So there's that. And then you have people like Whitebeard, who in comparison, I mean, you could basically say is a god, right? The guy is capable of creating tsunamis and arguably destroying the entire planet. So yeah, that's like pretty close to a god, right? Like, they kind of do stuff like that. So, and that's kind of what we're talking about, right? Is he Yonko level? So he is based on Hercules. So that doesn't mean everything, but that is pretty important. We've heard that he has done some pretty crazy things, and when he did actually clash with Whitebeard, you know, it wasn't just like he got destroyed or anything. It doesn't really mean anything, but at least he didn't just die or his sword break or something. So that's pretty cool. Additionally, something I've considered about Oden is that because of how crucial he is to the story, he is like the big guy in Wano. He was supposed to become the shogun. I mean, originally he was, and then he wasn't, and then he was again, basically. Because of that, because he was the son of the shogun, and he has Conqueror's Haki and the important role he's played in the story. The fact that it has to do with Wano, which is one of the most important islands from the beginning and clearly is becoming even more important now because of his position, Oda has to have conceived him from the beginning. This is someone who was always going to be in the story. He was always going to be extremely important to the story. So with that being said, it's very possible that he did intend for him to be like a late gamer, right? He was someone who would be someone we could match up with the late game people that we see towards the end of the story. I see that being very possible. Now, of course, Oda, when he first started writing the story, didn't think it was even going to be very long. So he doesn't really understand how that kind of stuff works. I'm sure a lot of people are going to mention that, but that doesn't really have anything to do with anything. I mean, either way, he'd still be a late gamer, regardless of how long that actually took to get to. So, again, not 100% like solid evidence, but that is worth noting. I think Oda definitely intended for him to be a late gamer and would probably scale him to be around there. Now, of course, as well, what does late gamer mean exactly? I mean, we still haven't even seen Ben Beckman. He's a top Yonko commander. All of the top Yonko commanders, really. That's basically what I would consider a late gamer. I'd even consider regular Yonko commanders basically late gamers. I mean, at least, you know, in relation to the rest of the story. So I believe that makes sense for sure. Another thing is, this is kind of weird. So when we've heard about Wano, when we've heard about the samurai of Wano throughout the story, at first, to me, at least, I think a lot of people would agree with me when I say this, but it seemed to me that Wano was supposed to be this place that was just filled with these samurai who were some of the strongest characters in the world. They were like the top of the line swordsmen. Only few people could surpass any of them. And that's how that was. It was like Zoro was going to have to be like as powerful as the samurai of Wano and then somehow surpass that, and then he'll be in like the top tier. That's how I understood it. Then the time skip happens. We get to Punk Hazard. We get to Dressrosa. we meet people like Kinemon and Kanjuro and Raizo, and it's like, so are they not that powerful? Like, what actually is going on here? I mean, as far as I can tell, Kinemon is supposed to be one of the stronger samurai among the samurai of Wano. That's definitely not for sure, but he's like one of the main people, and he was one of the retainers of Oden. So it seems to me that he would be supposed to be pretty powerful. And as far as I've seen from him, I mean, again, I've said this before, maybe Oda didn't do so well of a job power scaling him in Punk Hazard and Dressrosa or whatnot. He's going to redo everything in Wano. But as far as I've seen so far, he's pretty garbo. So if that's how strong the samurai are, then I don't really know. But, I mean, with that being said, if that is how it is, if the samurai are really weak, then I feel like there needs to be a particular samurai that would have built this ridiculous reputation for how powerful they were supposed to be. Namely Oden, in this case. If these guys, at the beginning of the series, before we start actually learning about Wano, we're thinking that these guys are supposed to be so powerful, the whole world, oh, the samurai of Wano, they're so powerful. Why? Why would you even think that? I mean, you really shouldn't, right? Since they're an isolationist country anyway. You don't know anything about them. Except for maybe the one samurai that got out and was so powerful that it just created this amazing reputation for the samurai of Wano, right? I think that that's a possibility. That's something that would make sense. Why else would people know how strong the samurai of Wano are unless they only saw one, and he was that powerful? So I think that is definitely something going for Oden there. And lastly, and this is an interesting point coming from me, of course, we have that Oden apparently was the only person to have actually damaged Kaido. Now, from me, this actually isn't really that much of evidence that Oden is that powerful, because I don't think it has anything to do with his power levels. Of course, I have to mention this. I believe that what that is saying is, because the Kozukis are the only people who know how to actually damage poneglyphs, because they're the only ones who know how to work them, and poneglyphs are supposed to be indestructible, I believe that Kaido, of course, is a poneglyph, so Kozuki Oden knew how to damage him. I think that's the case. But since no one agrees with me, I guess I can just continue to make the point that that is evidence that Oden is extremely powerful. Because, I mean, Kaido has presumably battled with other Yonkos, such as Big Mom, Whitebeard, maybe even Rocks if he was a thing. Roger, perhaps. I mean, I don't see why not. He's a Yonko. I don't see how you get that status without being able to fight them and actually do stuff to them. So how could he just never take damage? I mean, right? And then Oden comes in and he just damages him? Maybe not something unbelievable. He didn't, like, cut him in half or anything, but he did damage him. So that's something that no one, at least as far as we can tell, have been able to do up until this point. So that's a huge thing. Again, I personally believe that that is not evidence of Oden's power whatsoever. I think it's just because Kaido's a poneglyph. But no one's going to agree with me on that. So I'm just going to say, yeah, I guess he's that powerful then. That's pretty impressive. Those are the big four things I thought of when it comes to Oden. I've been thinking about it a lot, basically, since the first clash with Whitebeard. Again, I don't think that Oden is Yonko level, or at least, at the very least, he is not Whitebeard level, especially prime Whitebeard. That would be a little too ridiculous. But it's far from impossible. There's definitely nothing we've seen so far that just makes that no. I mean, there's stuff that makes it like, yeah, that's possible. There's nothing that goes, no, that's clear evidence that it's impossible. No, there hasn't been anything like that. So I just wanted to put that on the table, hear what you guys have to think about it, because it's an interesting topic to me. And, you know, honestly, I don't think it's going to happen, but I would be okay with it, because like I've been saying, Oden is the best. I am so happy he's come into the story. I usually don't like flashbacks and whatnot, like what we've been getting, but this is great. No, I'm good with this. Odin is just the best. I want to see more and more of him. He's dead now, so this is the only way we can get it. So yeah, keep bringing on the Odin flashbacks, Oda. That is some really good stuff. Again, that's basically everything I got. If you enjoyed this video, remember to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Remember to leave me a comment, let me know what you thought about the video. I want to hear your guys' thoughts. Let me know if I'm just crazy. There's no way. Again, I really don't think that is the case, but even just for saying it's a possibility, let me know if I'm insane for that. Or maybe you agree with me. Let me know if you have any more evidence, you think something I missed. I would like to hear that. With that all being said, I hope you guys have an excellent rest of your day, a great end to your weekend, and I'll see you in the next one.